Hello, everybody. I hope that you're doing really well. Listen, I have a question for you. Do you have a pet? Do you love your pet? Do you love other animals? How much do you love your pet? How much do you love other animals? Do you love your pet? Do you love your other animals? This much? Or do you love your pet and do you love other animals this much? Or do you love your pet and do you love other animals this much? Today, I'm going to tell you a story that Jesus once told. And Jesus told that story to remind us just how much God loves us. So listen carefully. Our story today is called Cecil the Lost Sheep. Now, what sort of animals do you think this man has? Rabbits? No, he doesn't have rabbits. Giraffes? Well, he might well have giraffes, but they don't get a mention in this story. Sheep? Yes, he has sheep. He has 100 sheep, including Cecil. One day, Cecil was daydreaming. Boring, 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 boring. All I do is hang around with sheep. All I do is eat grass, wander down to the river for a bit of a drink, and eat more grass. Boring, boring, boring. Maybe I could run away and get a bike, a motorbike, or join a band. Cecil looked right. Cecil looked left. He jumped over his rock and he hid. From behind the rock he snuck behind a tree, and from behind the tree he ran over the hills to the mountains. Yes, the mountains. He reached the mountains and discovered they were high and steep, really high and really steep. Cecil was not deterred. Cecil was not put off. He began climbing. Higher and higher and higher he climbed, and it got steeper and steeper and steeper yet. He climbed and he climbed until he couldn't climb up any more and he couldn't climb down at all. Cecil was stuck. Well and truly stuck. Stuck, stuck, stuck. He sat on the edge of the ledge and started thinking. I could shout for help, but what will happen if the shepherd finds me? He might whack me with a big stick, crack, then grab me by the leg and drag me home, bump, bump, bumpity bump, and tie me to a tree without any dinner. Now back home, the shepherd was counting his sheep. 1, Terry, 2, Kevin, 3, Bronwyn, 4, Lucinda, 96, Meredith, 97, the other Meredith, 98, Amir, 99, Amelie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 96, 97, 98, 99. Cecil is missing. The shepherd ran to the rock and found hoofprints leading behind the tree. He ran behind the tree and found hoofprints leading over the hills. Yes, to the mountains, the mountains, the high mountains, the mountains that were high and steep. The shepherd climbed higher and higher, and it got steeper and steeper. When he thought he couldn't climb any further and wasn't sure if he could climb back down, he heard a noise. Bah! Cecil was saved. What did the shepherd do? Did he whack Cecil with his stick? Crack! No. Did he grab Cecil by the leg and drag him down the mountain? Bump, bump, bumpity bump? No. He was so glad that he had found his lost sheep that he put Cecil right on his shoulders and carried him home. When they got home, did the shepherd tie Cecil to a tree without any dinner? No. Instead, he threw a huge party, and everyone stayed up well past their bedtime and had great fun. Cecil The lost sheep had been found. Oh, that Cecil was a wild sheep, wasn't he? Running away from the shepherd up into the mountains and getting stuck, stuck, stuck. But how much do you think the shepherd loved Cecil? Did the shepherd love Cecil this much? Or did the shepherd love Cecil this much? Or did the shepherd love Cecil this much? I think the shepherd just loved Cecil to bits and did everything that he could to go and find Cecil and help Cecil. Now, think about this. If God is the shepherd and we are the sheep, how much does God love you? Does God love you this much? Or does God love you this much? Or does God love you this much? I think Jesus told us the story to remind us that God loves us forever and God will do anything that God can to help us to follow Jesus. So you remember that. God loves you. God loves all of you and always will. That is really, really, really good news, and that is something to sing and dance about. So that is just what we are going to do now. So get ready, get up, get ready for our song together. And I'm going to say bye for now. So, bye for now.